I was waiting in a gate area in San Juan, Puerto Rico, flight back to Chicago, reading a newspaper. I was traveling alone. And I noticed that there's 2 kids out in the general gate area. One's about 9, maybe the other one's about 7. They're kind of tussling out there. I wasn't paying a lot of attention. And then out of the corner of my eye, I see the 9-year-old, the older of the 2, wind up and throw a punch with his fist that landed smack in the face of this 7-year-old and knocked him off his feet. The first thing that hit the quarry tile floor was this kid's head. And it was so horrifying to me hearing that sound and seeing that kid get knocked off his feet. I crumpled the newspaper and just in a panic, I was like, where are the parents? Who's going to break this up? And while I was scanning the waiting area to see who was going to break this up, the older kid takes the other kid that's lying on the ground and he takes him by the hair and he starts pounding his head on the quarry tile floor. I throw my newspaper down. I hate violence. If you only knew how much. I hate violence of any kind. And this was of 2 little boys, so I run out there and I haul the older kid off the younger kid. And the older kid's still swinging. He's just like a fighter, just punching me and all that. And I finally wrap my arms around him to, control this kid a little bit. The other kid's bleeding and crying on the floor. And I'm just like, oh, what a horrendous mess this is. And just then, someone from the airlines came up and said, are you Bill Hybels? And I said, yeah, but I'm busy, And this person said, well, that whole airplane is waiting for you. You're the last person who to board. So if you want to catch that flight, you have to leave right now. And I said, listen, we have a problem here. If you will guarantee me that you and other airline people will sort out what's happening right here, I'll catch that flight. If you won't, I'll miss it. And she goes, hey, we kind of saw this. I have some people coming. We'll take care of it. So another guy ran over and grabbed this kid. They were paying attention to the other kid. And so I walked on to that airplane. I got to a window seat. I can't tell you how badly I wanted to change the channel of what I had just seen. I wanted to read a sailing magazine. I wanted to put headphones on. I wanted to expunge what I had just seen out of my mind. And God was like, not so fast, Bill. Not so fast. Don't grab a sailing magazine. I want you to sit for just a second, and I want you to think about what you just saw. I want you to think about that 9-year-old, and I want you to think about his heart. Because for a kid to do what that kid just did, that kid has been hurt. Hurt people hurt people. You do understand this. Something had happened to that 9-year-old that had so filled his heart with hurt and hate and anger and seething violence that he was able to do that to a 7-year-old. So God just said, I want you to think about the trajectory of this little 9-year-old who's got a hate-filled heart at 9. How's his life likely to go? And so I started thinking about that. I asked myself, is he going to be an honor student in junior high and an honor student in high school? Is he going to go to a great college, marry a sweetheart, and get a good job and have a house with a picket fence and then go to heaven? Is that the likely trajectory of his life? Or if he's already pounding a kid's head in the floor at 9 years old, is he likely in junior high and high school to use knives or guns and then get arrested, rot in jail, and then go to hell? Those are the 2 trajectories I sorted out in the airplane as we're flying towards Chicago. So then God kind of whispers to me, so what power on planet Earth could possibly change the kid's trajectory from the one to the other? Sort it out, Bill. Sort it out. Think this through. So I started scrolling through the options. Well, let's see. Is government likely to pass legislation that's going to have the effect of changing the composition of this kid's heart? Is he going to enroll in some university somewhere that there's going to be this really cool class that fundamentally changes the composition of his heart? Doubtful. Is some businesswoman or businessman going to come up with a product that he can buy and use that's going to fundamentally change the composition of his heart? Not likely. And then, this hit me like a Mack truck. I was like, wait a minute. This kid only has one hope. that some fired up Christ follower from an Acts 2-like church is going to cross his path, put his hands on, or her hands on that little guy's shoulders and say, I know you must have been hurt horribly in your family or in some environment, and I'm so sorry. But I want you to know that there is a love in heaven with your name on it. And the love of Jesus Christ can fundamentally change the composition of your heart. His love can dispel the hatred and the anger and the need for revenge and all that over time. And I want you to know that our church down the street, if you'll come with me to it, will love you as you are. We will accept you as you are. We will help mend what happened to you. And you can be part of a group of people who love God and who love each other and who help each other toward wholeness. And when I put that together in my head, I was like, oh, okay, that's the only hope this kid has. And I came to the rock-solid conviction on the airplane between San Juan and Chicago that because the message of Jesus Christ is the only power on planet Earth that can radically and permanently change the composition of a human heart, and because God entrusted that message to His church, for the church to steward and proclaim to the four corners of the world, I took out a piece of paper and I said, that means local church is the hope of the world. That's it. That math works.